You know what's interesting? While everyone's out there collecting hundreds of Instagram followers and maintaining massive friend groups, there's a small percentage of people who genuinely prefer having just 2 or 3 close friends. And for the longest time, we thought this was about shyness or social anxiety. But neuroscience just revealed something completely different is going on in their brains. If you're someone who has always had a small circle, maybe you've been told you're antisocial, or that you need to put yourself out there more. Perhaps you felt guilty about declining group invitations, or wondered if something was wrong with you, because you'd rather have deep one-on-one conversations than attend parties with 20 people. Here's what researchers at Harvard and Oxford recently discovered: your brain might actually be wired differently. And it's not a flaw, it's a feature. Let's talk about something called Dunbar's number. British anthropologist Robin Dunbar found that humans can typically maintain about 150 stable relationships. But here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone's brain processes social connections the same way. A 2020 study published in the journal Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience used fMRI scans to examine people with different social circle sizes. What they found was remarkable. People who naturally maintained smaller friend groups showed higher activity in the brain's prefrontal cortex during social interactions, specifically in areas responsible for deep processing and emotional regulation. Here's what's actually happening. Every friendship requires what neuroscientists call mentalizing, the ability to understand another person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Research from McGill University shows that people with smaller social circles have higher mentalizing capacity per relationship. Think of your brain like a smartphone with limited processing power. Some people spread that power across dozens of apps running simultaneously. Others dedicate that same power to just a few apps, but those apps run incredibly smoothly with full functionality. People with few friends aren't socially deficient. They're socially selective. Their brains literally invest more neural resources into each relationship, which means they remember more details about their friends' lives. They pick up on subtler emotional cues. They form deeper, more meaningful bonds. But there's a trade-off. This deep processing is cognitively exhausting, which explains why after socializing you might feel completely drained. Not because of anxiety, but because your brain was working overtime. Now, Oxford evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar also discovered something else. Within that 150-person limit, we have layers. About 5 intimate friends, 15 close friends, 50 good friends, and then 150 casual friends. But people with naturally small circles? They collapse these layers. Instead of spreading emotional investment across all tiers, they channel everything into that innermost circle of 5 or often, even fewer. A 2019 study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that people with 1 to 3 close friends reported the same or higher life satisfaction as those with larger networks. The key factor wasn't quantity, it was the depth of vulnerability and trust in those relationships. Now you might be thinking, isn't this just introversion? Not exactly. While there's overlap, this is different. Introversion is about energy, where you recharge. But what we're talking about is about processing style. Researchers at Stony Brook University found that some extroverts also have small friend groups, because they prefer deep connections over surface-level interactions. The real factor? High sensitivity in the mirror neuron system. These are the brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else doing it. People with highly active mirror neurons literally feel what others feel more intensely. This makes shallow friendships feel hollow and unsatisfying, while deep friendships feel incredibly rewarding. It's why small talk feels like torture, but a 3-hour conversation with your best friend flies by. Here's why this matters in 2025. We live in an age that glorifies large social networks. Social media has convinced us that more friends equals more success, more happiness, more worth. But neuroscience is telling us the opposite might be true for certain brain types. If you're someone with few friends, you're not broken. You're not missing out. Your brain is simply optimized for depth over breadth. You're a specialist, not a generalist, and both are equally valid ways to experience human connection. So the next time someone asks why you don't have more friends, you can tell them. Your brain is too busy building cathedrals to bother with sandcastles. And that's not just okay. Neuroscience says it might actually be your superpower. If this resonated with you, you probably also have these other rare traits.